we dissected somebody's brain on air, and I'm convinced it's never been done before. So go check it out after this program's over at VentureAlaskaRadio.com. Hey, do you remember Bill Cody? Bill Cody from this program, he was on our Hokahay update for the whole Hokahay. He did the whole race, and Split Shot, I think it was his nickname he ended up with. I don't remember how that came about, but he was in a gas station with a whole bunch of people that had cool names. They were real biker dudes, and gangster, probably killed a few people along the trip. And so Bill was a little jealous of their nickname status, and he didn't have one, so we appointed him one, and it was Split Shot. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Bill is probably listening. I just want to say, Bill, thank you for being a great American and the service to the country and the Coast Guard all those years, and I really appreciate that. I think it's never far from my mind that so many of the freedoms we enjoy are just at the mercy of people willing to give up their own freedom, make sacrifices, and they do it, yes, for compensation, but you know what they do it for first? They do it for love of country, and I admire that to no end. In fact, if you could see in my studio right now, behind my left shoulder is a picture of my grandfather, Art Kohler, in his Army Air Corps uniform as he just graduated the Army Air Corps flight school and took off over to, England and Italy and Germany. Anyway, all over North Africa. But just wanted to say a shout out and thank you to Bill Cody. And I think, again, Todd Cook, we call him Bulldog, may be in a little bit later to talk about road safety for the bikers that are going to be back out on the road. So Todd made me a honorary member of some club. I don't think I had to get beat in. I don't remember the beating if I did, but I actually think it's a pretty mild-mannered group of bikers that he made me an honorary member of. I've got the pin. I'll get that out. Hey, The Little Mermaid is open on the Homer Spit. Kathy Vogel wanted me to tell the world that the Homer Spit is now home to the Little Mermaid, and if you like Mermaid Cafe, and if you've got taste buds, you do, 9 out of 10 death row inmates, remember, request Mermaid Cafe as their last meal. Well, now it's open on the Homer Spit, so go check it out. Either location, in town or on the Homer Spit, the Mermaid Cafe is your gourmet headquarters. Here's your question. We'll send you to either location for free. We want to send you out there today. The question is, Barry Sweigel in Port Angeles, Washington, trying to get all fancy, Washington, went on a rampage with his bulldozer. First of all, I'm impressed he's got a bulldozer. But anyway, he went on a rampage and he destroyed 4 homes. 4 neighboring homes. Man, you think you've got neighbor problems? This guy goes and literally destroys 4 homes with his bulldozer. One woman was sleeping in a bed just minutes before. Some friend saw what was happening, went to the door, screamed, "Get out of here," just as he plowed through the bedroom where she had just been sleeping. Well, here's the question. What did Barry get so upset about? What set him loose on this wild rampage on his D9? Was it A, property line dispute, B, noise complaints, or C, loose dogs in the hood? Was it a property line dispute, noise complaints, or loose dogs? Join right now. Enter to win 299-7653. Your name and answer, 299-7653. Those of you outside of the Homer Anchor Point area, we have a special number for you. Get ready to write it down. It's 907-299-7653. 299-7653. Enter to win. Lots and lots of people have entered already to tell me whether or not Wells Fargo should be responsible for, are they responsible, yes or no, for the death of that man? I mean, taking his home when they knew, and this is the part that gets me, they admitted it, that they had a problem. They knew they had a problem. Don't you go anywhere or you'll have a problem. Rhonda Johnson will be here with our Mortgage Moment coming up right here on Radio Realty. You're listening to Radio Realty. I'm Christopher Story, along with Dave Webb, engineering and producing this program from the mothership of KPEN, making it broadcast all around the state. With me now is your more money mama, Rhonda Johnson with Alaska USA Mortgage Company. Rhonda, are you going to be my go-to gal again this year for the dip net fishery on the Kenai?
Well, you know it, Chris, but then I can't be doing mortgage loans if I'm on the river scouting fish for you.
As long as you've got my deals done, you get out there and fish. Do what it takes.
Okay, will do.
Well, half the time, though, don't you go at odd hours? Don't you and Roger usually go early in the morning?
Either early in the morning or late at work or late at night after after work and when everybody gets off the river, hopefully, and not quite as busy. But you know what, Chris? Last year the river was really nice because there wasn't, the king fishing was off limits, and so there wasn't near as many boats on that river as there has been in the past.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, and I'm a little concerned about what's going on. I talked with your mayor there in Kenai, Pat Porter, and everybody from the Valley, and I don't want to pick on the people from the Valley, but that's what it sounds like. The Valley and Anchorage folks are leaving a huge mess for Kenai citizens to clean up afterwards. I hope that gets resolved because I certainly don't want to see anything deleterious happen to the fishery just because of a few people. But anyway.
Yeah, I heard that they were going to put some extra things out this year, so just some extra facilities. And,
hey, you know what would be kind of fun is like the games of yesteryear back in Rome and such. You could just have some brown bears running up and down the beach. That'd keep people on their toes and clean up the mess.
See, I don't know about that, Chris.
I'm always thinking on my feet. All right, what are today's conventional mortgage rates, Rhonda?
You know what? Actually, I was just locking in my customers that are sitting here with me, and we're looking right at about 3.875%. So they have ticked up just a little bit over the last couple of weeks, but oh my gosh, we're still under 4%, and they're just amazing.
Yeah, no kidding. Now that's conventional. Is FHA, VA, Alaska Housing, everybody kind of hanging in that same 3.8 range?
A little bit lower with the government loans, and the first-time homebuyer loans still at about 3.25%. So with a 3.375 APR, so they're still in really good shape, Chris. Oh my gosh, they're just amazing.
Now let's talk about zero down real quick. I'm seeing more rural development activity, and I just want to remind people in the listening footprint, which includes Kenai, Soldotna. Can Kenai and Soldotna, do they qualify as rural for rural development or no?
They do. So the definition for rural development, rural classification, is anything that is not located in Anchorage, Fairbanks, or Juneau.
Okay,
so whether you're in or out of the city limits on any of the cities on the Kenai Peninsula, then they're eligible for the USDA Rural Development Loan.
Okay.
And just a reminder, Chris, then, for a family of up to 4 people, they could make $97,600 a year and still qualify for the zero down payment.
Yeah,
and
no, that's great.
If they have 5 or more people in the family, they can make all the way up to $128,000. So that's some pretty generous low-income numbers there.
I was going to say that I'm not sure that's almost a contradiction in terms, but yeah, definitely that's terrific. And now FHA, I'm not seeing a whole lot of that come across my desk.
Well, FHAs are a little more difficult right now because they've increased their monthly mortgage insurance premiums so high that it really is not cost-effective to use their program if we can find some other source. Now, they have some really good qualities. It's 3.5% down. They don't ding you on your interest rate depending on your credit scores, but the mortgage insurance, people that are getting FHA loans right now are basically paying for people that defaulted on FHA loans in years past. So they're trying to recoup and replenish their insurance fund. So it's kind of unfortunate. I try to find other options if I can.
Yeah, no, I understand completely. Now, Alaska Housing, you said the first-time homebuyer program, that's the only first-time homebuyer program on the market right now, correct? I mean, that is the one when we talk about first-time homebuyers.
Right, the one that's administered or provided by Alaska Housing.
Is it income sensitive?
It is income sensitive, Chris, but again, you can make up to over $80,000 a year, or up to about $80,000 a year, depending on your family size, and still qualify as that first-time homebuyer.
And again, just if you haven't lived in a primary residence that you've owned in 3 years.
That, and if your income is too high, we do have a second non-income sensitive first-time homebuyer program. So we've got something for almost everybody.
Okay, I like that. That's what I always say. I say, Rhonda's got something for everybody. What else is new? It seems like in Soldotna, Kenai, whenever I go through new businesses, new development, is Clint Hall just rolling through the foundations this time of year?
Yeah, there's a lot of new construction going on. We're finding the market pretty darn active right now. I've had a few properties that are in multiple bid situations and multiple families wanting to buy that same property. So it's just really active. It just seems like there's a lot of activity going on. I see some of the oil companies doing some exploring and drilling and just lots of activity.
Yeah, in fact, that's on my list of things today is that the Endeavor that was parked down here in Homer forever it just tapped in. I think it's today or yesterday, just tapped at their Cosmopolitan site. So Yeah, that's awesome. That was yesterday. We just confirmed with the news director at KPEN. Okay, well, Rhonda Johnson can be found 24/7, even if she's on the river. RhondaJohnson.net. RhondaJohnson.net. 226-8815 or 714-4391 in the Central Peninsula. Rhonda, I'll let you get back to your customers. Tell them that I said hello and welcome to Alaska, and thank you, Rhonda, for being here today.
Thank you so much, Chris. Have a great day.
You too. And don't you go anywhere. We'll answer the Mermaid Trivia Contest coming up here on Radio Realty. You're listening to Radio Realty. I'm Christopher Story, your host for great adventures in real estate, broadcasting live from the corner of West Hill and the Sterling Highway, the home of Story Real Estate and the home of all things prosperity. Prosperous is what we want to talk about, because here's the deal. If you think you can, then you can, right? Wasn't it Henry Ford that said, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. So you're right either way. Why not just assume that you can do what it is you want to do? Do you want to ride a Harley Davidson this summer? Great. I got Todd Cook in the studio. He'll talk to you about how to do it safely on the highways of Alaska. And if you want to invest wisely in the Anchorage or the Palmer-Wasilla Valley area, I've got Kevin Cross here with Keller Williams, Kevin Cross team. He'll talk to you about what's going on in that end of the market. But first, let me just answer a question from the first half of the show. All right, Barry Sweigel, as you know, was a Port Angeles, Washington bulldozer operator. I don't know what he did for a living, but he went on a rampage and destroyed 4 neighboring homes. Well, what got Barry so upset was the property line dispute. That's right, Chad, you're the winner today. I want to thank everybody else that texted in to win, but Chad is the winner today. He knew that, well, a lot of people were correct. Property line's exactly what they fought over. Now, I don't understand exactly what happened, but this guy lost it, and I'm just wondering out loud, why didn't they just call a surveyor? I mean, isn't that what surveyors do? They solve these kinds of problems. Anyway, that's a good thing to know. If you're selling your home, it'd be a really good thing before you put it on the market. I like 2 different things, right? Live like you're selling. Have a home inspection and get your property corners. If nothing else, get your property corners marked. Have your as-built freshened up if it's been 1982 the last time you had it drawn. Make sure that it's up to date and make sure you don't have any lingering disputes happening in the future. The last thing you want is 4 of your neighbors' homes destroyed with a bulldozer. Come on. Let's talk to the bulldozer himself, Mr. Kevin Cross, Keller Williams, of the Kevin Cross team in Anchorage and the Valley. Kevin, welcome to Radio Realty.
I appreciate you having me today, Chris.
Yeah, it's good to have you back on the show. And Kevin, Lawrence Yoon, as you know, is a National Association of Realtors chief economist, and he said recently that sellers are experiencing a supply and demand balance that is tilted towards them. In other words, it's a seller's market in a good portion of the country. Are you going to say that that holds true in the Anchorage and Valley area?
Well, we're very fortunate. We have a high-class problem in Anchorage, in Wasilla, in that we never saw the numbers of the devastation to the housing market that it was experienced in the lower 48. At most, it just calmed down and, the rough waters leveled out. So what we saw was a little bit of stagnation, but I would say that we are back into a boom area of real estate selling in proportions that we haven't seen since early 2000s, 2004 to 2005.
Yeah.
To put things in perspective to you, in Anchorage, residential single-family homes, there's currently 943 just simply residential houses. That excludes condos or anything. 943 on the market. In the last 30 days, 53% of the homes on the market have gone under contract.
Wow.
So more houses are being consumed by buyers than the inventory is supplying. In fact, we are 15% fewer homes on the market right now in May than we saw at the same time last year.
That's fantastic. Now, we're having, just speaking specifically for the Homer Anchor Point area, very similar problems in that we have more pending already this year right now than we did last year. But the prices, Kevin, on the Southern Peninsula, I would say specifically, and even Central Peninsula from what I've observed, are, they're pretty much holding steady with last year. I mean, so you're talking about a supply problem, but what about values? Are they creeping up or just kind of hanging in there in that moderate to low percentage rate of increase?
Well, we've seen gradual increases. The new appraisal process and the new HUD guidelines as far as regulating appraisals is really keeping those prices from growing at the rate that I would anticipate they would. There are some safeguards that we're we're under the new regulations that are keeping those down. You know, at most you're probably going to see a 3 to 6% increase annuum. The appraisers are really keeping so it's maintaining the prices. This is what we're seeing is that buyers are starting to pick up more of their own closing costs. It's difficult to see a buyer ask for all their closing costs. Now they're lucky if they're going to get their closing costs paid. They may even have to pay for an appraisal. They're losing negotiations on repairs, in which case the seller only do health and life safety, but they're not going to be able to get improvements. They're just, you know, the seller is now operating from strength as opposed to weakness.
I feel like right now, and you tell me if you're seeing the same thing, that there's a renewed confidence. So just take out the question about, well, is it supply demand? What's causing the multiple offer situation or the strength moving back into the seller's hands, as you put it? I feel like buyers and sellers, people in general, are more confident and gaining in that confidence in that real estate's a good investment. It's a great place to earn wealth, keep wealth, and to put your money and use other people's money. I don't feel there's such trepidation and skepticism anymore in the marketplace. How about you?
Well, I concur. In fact, it's, you know, in understanding that it's a unique situation that we have in that it's usually either a buyer's market or seller's market. In fact, it's both. Listen, you with your 30-year fixed rate at 3.25 or 3.5%, and your lender at 3.5 will get what they call premium pricing. They will pay all your closing costs. Your lender will pay your loan origination fee and up to 3% of the purchase price of that property. Now that's on FHA mortgages and, you know, and some other standard mortgage products. But that's phenomenal. I mean, the biggest expense against owning real estate is your debt payment, and that is at record low.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for a seller, they want to take their money. This is a great time to buy up, because where the market really begins to recede is where you get in those houses that are over like $400,000. Well, if you go back looking at the prices on a mortgage payment on a $400,000 home at 3.5% is equivalent to a mortgage payment on a $200,000 home at about 5.75%.
Which wasn't that long ago. We were seeing 5.75%, 6.5%, 7% even.
That's exactly right. So, I mean, it is a fantastic time. A lot of individuals are selling and buying up. Listen, if you've lived in Anchorage, if you've lived in your house over, say, 2 to 3 years, you've got equity in there enough just through natural appreciation that you can sell it.
Yeah, that's nice. Now, listen, let me just close with this. If you had to identify the biggest problem that the Anchorage market specifically faces, either now or in the coming months or maybe even a year out, what's that problem? I would guess that it's land shortage, but you tell me.
Well, it's not only land shortage. Here's the issue. We're not building nearly enough homes for the growth of our population, so there's going to be a housing shortage, which is flooding into the rental market. Rents have gone up 40% in the last 2 years. They're going to continue to escalate because new apartments and multifamily are being built even at a lower extent than single-family homes. So what you're going to see is that for those individuals that didn't buy now and thinking I'm just going to rent for the next couple of years, it's going to be extremely painful. We're already one of the highest, Wasilla and Alaska are one of the highest per capita for rents, and it's just continuing to escalate. Supply and demand, lots of tenants, they can't find the houses, lack of inventory, that means rents go up.
If you're in the Anchorage or Valley area and you know somebody that's looking to buy, rent, or sell, or you yourself are, Kevin, what's the best way to get in touch with you directly? You
can call me directly at 907-529-2289, and we not only are Alaska's or Anchorage and Wasilla's highest producing real estate team year to date, we also specialize primarily in investment properties, so if you're looking to invest or create cash flow, that is really where we excel.
Awesome. Kevin, thank you so much. Kevin Cross, and I should add that you're also a phenomenal piano player. So that's whether that matters or not, I don't know, but it's a fact.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more here on the greatest show on earth. Saw an article on cruising to Alaska. All right. Everything you know, everything you've seen in the news, be it norovirus, the stomach flu, the raging stomach flu, recent engine failures, feces and urine running down the stateroom walls and down the halls. Who's booking cruises right now? Would you, let me just ask my guest, Todd Cook. Todd Cook, now I know you're a motorcycle guy, so it means you're a risk taker. But are you interested in going on a cruise right now?
Yeah, are they going to give me a discount on that?
Okay, all right. So that's the cruise business is alive and well.
We have this stuff on the walls at work all the time.
Oh man!
No, I'm kidding. We have a clean facility.
What an introduction here! I'd like you to meet Todd Cook. You'll remember him as Bulldog from our Hoka-Hey update program we did a couple years back. And Todd Cook made me an honorary member of the Black Sheep HDC Harley Davidson for Christ. So I am a member of that chapter. I wanted to say hog. Can I just call myself a hog or Hogs for Christ, anything like that?
There's a hog group. There's Harley Owners Group. That's where you get hog from.
Oh, that's what, okay. All right.
So you have to actually own a Harley?
Oh, so I'm just still really just basically just a wannabe?
Yeah.
Wow, a poser, Dave?
No,
Really?
I call you a support member. How's that?
All right, that sounds good. Well, listen, I didn't call you here to talk about city water, wastewater treatment, anything like that, so just relax. Wanted to talk to you about riding motorcycles safety. What's the best piece of advice you could give somebody like me, driving, lumbering my way around town, texting, talking, eating, drinking, not paying, I'm kidding, not drinking, anything. I drink coffee and that's it. But seriously, what do we need to know to watch out for you guys? Is it all on you? Or I mean, obviously.
Well, yeah, I grabbed some stuff off. There's a couple of great websites, whether you ride or not, that you can go to. Motorcycle Safety Foundation.
.com, I'm assuming?
-USA.com.
Oh, okay.
They have some great stuff. And the ABATE, which stands for, up here we say Alaskan Bikers Advocating Training and Education. And they have stuff on, for motorcyclists, but also things for drivers. And so I looked up a few things, and that's my old lady's bike, by the way.
Your old lady. I like that. I can get away with that. Even though I'm a member of the Black Sheeps, I cannot call her my old lady, but I admire that you can.
Well, it's an honorary term among bikers.
Yeah, I know. But that's nice. It's pink. It's got saddlebags. It's got a lot of chrome and a windshield. Isn't that sweet? And even little round mirrors. This is really a nice Harley Davidson.
Nice bike.
Yeah,
nice
I like
bike.
that.
It was actually a gift, which makes it even nicer.
A gift from you?
No, from a friend of hers.
Nice.
And so, anyway, I threw on that. That's an advertisement. We're having a bike blessing on Saturday.
Oh, and a barbecue. Great.
A free barbecue. Everybody's welcome. Anything that's got a motor, bring it by. We'll hang out with you.
Nice.
Jet skis, snow machines, four-wheelers. We're all kind of the same anyway.
So you're going to have a pastor there?
Yeah, we'll probably have a couple, but do we need them?
Oh, okay. I don't know. You tell me.
So we got other people. There's some Anchorage Black Sheep that are coming down to help us pray and feed people and hang out. Just kind of hang out and yak, check out some people's bikes.
Cool.
And,
Can people come down from Kenai, Soldotna, the whole thing?
Oh, yeah,
anywhere?
of course. We had people from Anchorage last year.
Wow.
Ride all the way down.
Assembly of God, and that is the 18th.
Next to the bowling alley there. Yeah.
The 18th, which is just 3 days from now at 11 a.m. Show up. Bring your bike. Looks like you guys are going to have a great time.
Well, that's the first thing I do to be safe. I go to those.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I was saying, there was a statistic that I read, which I knew, I didn't realize how much it was, but over half of the fatalities in motorcycle crashes involve other vehicles. It means other people are hitting us or pulling in front of us. And last year, a guy from the shop, a young guy, tragic, taking a bike for a test ride on his way back. But people think he may not have been positioned correctly in the lane where he could be the most visible. And that's the big thing, is us trying to stay visible and other people, cagers we call you guys, watching out for us so you don't hit us with your cage. But a lady, on the Sterling, when you're trying to cut across, you're making, a quick shot across the highway. This lady didn't see the bike. He was behind a car. The car passed. This lady with a trailer whipped right in front of him. The skid mark was less than 10 feet long. No time at all. Two kids, gone. DOA. Tragic. So the big thing is watch for us. Scanning is just a good driving technique no matter what you're driving. Don't just stare down the road because you get this peripheral blindness. This is the actual thing. You can Google this. Where you don't see things coming in from periphery. And I guess they teach pilots. A guy was telling me his old man was a pilot. And he taught him when he was starting to drive a car, his dad taught him to scan, not just from mirror to mirror, but scan to the sides of the road. And then you don't get this peripheral blindness. Motorcycles are smaller, so it's going to be harder to see us out there. And then on our part, as motorcyclists, we should try to remain as visible as possible. Some people wear bright colors, reflective piping, for nighttime, Now all motorcycles, when you turn them on, the headlights are on. So
and
that
they
helps.
blink too, right? They start
Yeah, I've
blinking?
seen some of those too. Those
Yeah.
brake lights that will flash and blink, and they really catch your attention.
Yeah, you just hope it doesn't. Like, you become mesmerized and go to it.
You
know?
hypnotize the
Right.
whole line of traffic behind you. It turns into a big battering ram or something.
Right.
But, the biggest thing is to keep your eyes open. And you were talking about cell phones. I know you were saying jokingly, but
Facetiously.
because I know you would never
No.
drive. But there was an accident last summer, year before. Kid rushing home to Anchorage, Sterling Highway, hit a guy with his wife. They were on a Gold Wing, huge bike, knocked them off the highway, killed the guy and his wife, both of them. I knew the guy. I had worked with him a little bit in Cordova, and
And was he on the driver of the vehicle was on a cell phone then?
yeah, I didn't hear if he was texting or talking, but it really doesn't matter. There's studies out there. When you're on a cell phone, your brain detaches from other things that you're doing.
That's true.
That becomes your primary focus, and you don't even realize you're doing it.
Yeah, I speed up. Tiffany won't drive in the car with me. If I take a phone call, she'll pull on the side of the road, which is the safest thing to do anyway.
yeah.
Because as I'm speaking, I begin to speed. Not for any law enforcement listening, not above
Like getting
the comfort.
irritated.
Yeah,
So your
that's right.
foot goes down on the pedal.
I just as you said, the brain detaches. All of a sudden, you go into that the lizard brain, as they say, takes over, and you just start driving, and you're not as cognizant and aware. So this is all good stuff, Todd Cook. I appreciate that. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Todd's going to answer the question: will he hokahay again this year or not, and what is the route? That, and I want to talk about a policeman fundraiser coming up this weekend you need to know about. So stick around, Radio Realty. All right, we're here in studio with Todd Cook. He is your former hokahay champion. Already completed it. He didn't win. He did not win. I want to first of all say thank you to the Homer News. They're going to be reporting on that big policeman fundraiser that was called Dunk the Fuzz. And what I don't know is how many times some of your favorite policemen and troopers went into the dunk tank, or maybe a city manager. We don't know how many times Walt got dunked. But nevertheless, all should be applauded for a great job. Great cause is the Special Olympics. And so you can read all about that in tomorrow's edition of the Homer News. And if you can't wait like I can't, usually I'm a little bit... eager. So I go to homernews.com. Homernews.com. Read about the Boys and Girls Club closing up shop and pulling out a homer, but maybe not for long. City Council ponders the possibilities for future land use around Pier 1 Theater on the Spit. What else? Seventh grader Jimmy Gao won his first prize in Intermediate 2 Division at the Alaska Piano Competition. We're talking about Kevin Cross being a pianist. Well, good for you, boy. Let's see here. Business news. Dixon family of Tutka Bay fame open a new restaurant on the Homer Spit, La Baleine Cafe. There's a Baleen? Or Baleine. I'm going to say Baleine because it sounds French, but you can read all about it and make up your own mind. Homernews.com. Homernews.com. So, Todd Cook, are you going to go on the hokahay this year?
Are you going to sponsor me?
Yes, absolutely. I will sponsor you partially.
Partially. Well, if I get full sponsorship, I would definitely go. But
What are you
I
talking
don't
about
have the
dollar-wise?
funding.
What are you talking about dollar-wise to do something like this?
I'd have to figure the Harley shop in Kenai has offered some sponsorship, services in kind, and things like that, and shipping maybe. I probably, because it's in New York this year, the route starts in New York, goes through Canada, ends, and I think they're looking at another 7,000 or 8,000 mile route. I'd have to double. It might be 6,000. Gas, shipping, chow. Probably $6,000 to $8,000.
Wow. No, I'm out.
Depending.
I'm out. Yeah, I was thinking, give you I got a 20.
Well, it's $1,000 entry fee.
Yeah.
You got to get the bike shipped.
Right.
You got to get it serviced, and you got to get it back.
Yeah, and you got
And
gas.
then gas on the road, and the food is the cheap part. And then you got lodging in between. You got to be there for a couple days ahead of time. Yada,
right.
yada, yada. So,
All right. So it's probably not going to happen.
well, if you chuck me 4 or 5, I can make it work.
So it's probably not going to happen. Is there an echo in here?
I thought so.
All right, Todd Cook. Well, I appreciate everything. And don't forget, the Bike Blessing and Barbecue kicks off this Saturday at the Assembly of God Church in Homer, Alaska. And those of you listening around the peninsula and around the state, you're welcome. Come down. Bring your bike down. Meet Todd Cook. Meet the Black Sheep Guy himself, he's not really a black sheep. He's one of us, but he is a member of the Black Sheep organization, and now I are as well, a honorary member. He made me this a couple years ago, and it's a cherished organization, and they do great work. So you can come down and get your bike or anything with a motor blessed and have some hot dogs and some good food with some great people, and that's great. Thank you, Todd. Todd, did you know, you may have been reading about this foreclosure settlement issues with some borrowers that were improperly foreclosed on? Well, there was a settlement with, I think it was 100 and some odd thousand people, and it got all resolved. They're all going to get some checks, not going to be made whole 100%, but they're getting their checks, and the feds sent the checks out wrong. I mean, is that what you call making a bad situation worse, a little salt in the wound? I know we did something improper, and here's only a partial settlement. Anyway, they're making good on it. So foreclosure settlements marred by bad checks, I guess went from bad to worse. So, there's a climate change. In the last 2 minutes of the program, I can't really get into it. But, you know what? I'll skip the climate change and move right to the governor's mansion. It's actually the lieutenant governor's mansion. Recently, the Wickersham House in Juneau, they spent $500,000 to renovate it, right? Okay, $500,000. The state spent that money. The governor budgeted another $200,000 to improve it further to create a place for the lieutenant governor to stay when he's in Juneau. Well, the lieutenant governor's cost of staying in Juneau over the last year was estimated to be $2,300. So I did the math. $200,000 to make it habitable for the lieutenant governor is equivalent to 86 years worth of staying at the Baranoff. Yeah, that's the government. I don't have a government calculator, though, so I can't really do the real math on that. I want to send I'm going to send two people that answered. By the way, everybody said yes. The organization, Wells Fargo, is definitely responsible for killing Larry DeLassis. They are responsible for his death. Not one single person. We had 28 respondents. 28 out of 28 said, yes, Wells Fargo is responsible. Now, I don't mean your local branch. I'm talking about the organization that foreclosed illegally on poor Larry, and then he died in court trying to defend himself. Look, 2 of you are going to State Tan for free. I've got a 3 vitamin D for free here. 3 passes to State Tan and Homer. I'm going to select 2 of you and text you back so you'll know who you are when I text you. Todd Cook, thank you for being here today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll see you at the Bike Blessing. Dave Webb, thanks for engineering the program, and maybe together you and I will be watching the finale of American Idol together. I'll be thinking about you. Maybe some Idol chatter next week, and we can just do a whole wrap. We'll do the whole season in one episode. All right. Hey, don't you guys forget Tuesday's Alaska Matter. Go check out yesterday's show, AdventureAlaskaRadio.com. It was awesome. Thanks for being here. Now go out there and make $1 million in your own backyard.